Man, it is going to be a gorgeous day. Look at this. Look at that out there. It is so beautiful. And I'm really excited about today. And I'm excited to see you grow in your art adventure today. Whatever that looks like, I want to encourage you today. Look, we got work going on over there at the studio. They're put up an awning. They're doing some work on the inside right now. Just a little bit, just some supports on the beams, but here with the cows, and it's been a good morning already. One of the things that I really just want to talk about right now is coaching. I woke up this morning. I've got two things that I'm part of. I hold up four fingers. I'm part of two coaching programs, but one of them is fitness and one of them is business coaching. It's more than that really, but it's really related to how can you be successful in your business. The reason I'm bringing it up is because where are you at in your journey? What do you need to get further along? And I know that for me, I think I have a lot of good intentions. Probably you have a lot of good intentions. A lot of us have good intentions. But good intentions don't really take us very far, do they? And motivation comes and goes. I heard a few years ago, I was in this other kind of program, and I remember this guy who was leading the group that I was in. He said, I don't believe in motivation. Kind of like, what do you mean you don't believe in motivation? He goes, well, motivation comes and goes. Some days you have it, some days you don't. When you have it, it's easy. You're all motivated. You're all, ooh, let's go. But what happens on the days, 5 days later, you get to there and you're not motivated anymore and you just don't want to do it. What happens then? And he said, that's why I believe in your environment. Environment is more important than motivation. So I'm part of coaching programs. I'm part of these groups because I know that my motivation can come and go a little bit, but the accountability of being part of something bigger, being coached, having people that can encourage you, that's why that's so important. So I encourage you today, right now, wherever you are, who is your coach? Who do you go to that can help you in your art journey? Who do you go to that can help you when you don't feel motivated? What is the environment that you are putting yourself in that will keep you moving forward when the motivation isn't there? On those days that you want to do something deep down, but you just don't feel like you can, or you don't feel like you have what it takes, or you don't feel encouraged, or whatever it is. Where are you putting yourself? That's the question, because you can't control, the feelings. You can't control all that all the time. We can do quite a bit though about putting ourselves in an environment that will help us, that will push us forward. So that's what we're talking about today. Speaking of coaching, one of the things that I have heard several people talk about, and that is this: don't be a perfectionist when it comes to marketing your anything. Because what happens if you're an artist like me, you might be a perfectionist. And that's a good thing because it means that you work really hard at what you do and you want it to be good. It's a good quality in some ways. It means that you care actually about quality. You care about excellence. But the negative part of it is that you can get stuck because perfectionism almost always lends itself. It tends to lead to procrastination and maybe even paralyzation. So the thing that I'm saying this to myself right now, because I have an Instagram post all lined up, ready to go, but I'm like, oh shoot, I used that music last time, like a couple weeks ago, and I'm going like, oh, do I really want to do that? I'm also like thinking about this, like, look, this is our garage, and I'm like, oh, there's a cat box up there, and I'm like, oh, do I really want to show people this? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Because you know what? Getting your stuff out there in front of people is going to be more important for you than trying to perfect something. And because what happens is this is the deal. When you're trying to perfect everything before you ever test anything, you don't actually know. What we think is going to be the best reel, the best painting, the best video, the best whatever is not probably what's going to resonate with somebody else. And you're actually not doing what you're doing for yourself. That's not the way it works. I made that mistake big time when we started Acrylic University. I was like, I know what course we need to make. I know how we're going to make it. I know what it's going to look like. And we had these ideas and we started and we worked for 6 months, like trying to create this video course. And gosh, it was so much work and so much effort. And then we showed it to people and we asked for feedback. And we got good feedback that said, oh, actually do this, change this. And we had to redo essentially the whole course. And the reason I'm saying that is because until you start testing things, until you start saying, like, just throwing stuff out there and asking for feedback and asking and seeing what the results are and seeing what happens, you don't actually know what you're doing. You don't know what people are actually going to respond to. So why spend all that time and effort? Why did we spend 6 months doing that? We should have asked questions first. We should have said, what's going on? Like, show us, help us, and that's exactly where I'm at again today. I'm like going, okay, I want to do Brave Artists. I want to do this thing that helps other artists. I want to help them, because if you're brave and you're creating beauty in the world, then the world's going to be a more beautiful place. And that matters. And your success matters, and your creative energy and feeling like you've got what it takes, that matters, because the world needs the beautiful part of you that you can create. The world needs that. But have I asked you what you need? Have I put that out there? And that's what I'm doing. That's actually one of my goals today, is to put it on the site. So you can go to braveartist.com right now. When you're watching this, like if you were doing it literally right now, it wouldn't be ready. But when you see this, by the time I post this video, you can go to braveartist.com and you can ask any question. I'm just going to say, hey, like, what's your biggest question? How could I, as someone who is a full-time artist, as someone who has, done okay with video courses, somebody who like understands a little bit about what it takes to be a professional artist and some ways that you can make it work. Like, what are your questions? How could I potentially help you? I don't even know, because I don't know what your questions are. I don't know where you're at. But that's what you need to do. You need to just throw something out there and ask people what their needs are. Show people stuff, see what people respond to, but don't get too caught up in the details of making it perfect. Okay, so I just sent my Instagram video off. I'm just thinking. I'm just like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Here's what you need to do. You need to make a plan yesterday for today. That's very important. Plan tomorrow today. Plan tomorrow today. Write that down, and then write this down. Lift big rocks first. You know that analogy, like where you have a jar and you're trying to put a bunch of rocks in it, and you have like little rocks and big rocks. Well, if you put the little rocks in first, the big rocks don't fit at the end, right? But if you put the big rocks in first, the little rocks will fit around the big rocks. And so, gosh, I've got like 15 minutes before I've got a meeting. I have a meeting I have to be in, and it's going to be good. I actually am looking forward to it. But like what I'm doing right now, I'm like flying by the seat of my pants a little bit with this, because I've had this idea of Brave Artist for months, years even, but I haven't known exactly what it's going to look like. And so finally, I just go, okay, we need to run. We need to go. We need to roll with this. And so I'm honestly just kind of like, I'm just like shooting from the hip. And so that means that I'm not that planned out. What you're going to see with this is you're going to see, hey, my journey to becoming a better artist, to becoming a better coach, to becoming a better encourager, to becoming a better friend, better person overall. Like, I want to grow in all the ways that you want to grow. And I want to continue to grow in those ways because I've learned a ton and I've grown a ton. And that's what's really cool is I feel like I'm a late bloomer, like a late bloomer. You know, you think about people. I didn't honestly like even really begin to know what I wanted to do till I was 40. Like, I became a full-time artist when I was 40. I mean, gosh, I didn't even listen to anything related to leadership until like probably 2 years ago. You know, like maybe 3 years ago, but it's been in the more recent time period. And I've been around a lot of stuff. I've been, connected to a lot of stuff, but I didn't put myself into it. I didn't apply myself to it. And so, plan tomorrow today. Plan tomorrow today. What better time to think about tomorrow than in the 10 minutes before you go to bed, and to have a journal and to write out, these are my priorities. These are my goals. These are my solid things that I'm going to work on tomorrow. And then to set your mindset with one of gratitude. There are things that you can do to overcome discouragement, to overcome the hesitation and the paralyzation that's going to happen. And it's all like 95% of it, 99% of it, maybe 100% of it is up here in your head. It's starting your day right. It's doing the things that you need to do for yourself. In fact, just this morning, speaking about coaching, I was sitting with my coach, and that was his whole point of what he was talking about. Is like, you cannot help other people. Hey, if you're an artist, you want to share the beauty that you are creating with the world, but you can't do that the best until you care for yourself, until you apply beauty to your own life, until you become more and more the person that you need to become. And like he says, it's incremental, not monumental. It's putting small things in place in your life that you do on a consistent basis so that you can be the person you are made to be. Look, you can only lead other people as far as you are going. This is the battle for me. This is the whole journey for me, is like consistency. Making sure that my life is on track consistently. Am I waking up? Am I eager for the day? Am I ready? Am I prepared for my meetings? What is going on? That all starts in so many ways the night before. Because I believe this is a little bit about me, but I believe in kind of like the old biblical idea of the Sabbath starting on the day before. Like, if you think about Jewish Sabbath, it's from sundown to sundown. And I believe that those hours before you go to bed are very important for the start of the day. It's like the start of the new day. We start actually with rest. We start with, okay, maybe a little bit of planning, maybe a little bit of rejoicing, a little bit of eating, and then we go to bed and we rest and we start the day rested. We start the day in the morning. I mean, we start with sleep as we're going to bed, but that's why that time, like if you stay up till 2:00 in the morning, goofing around, watching Netflix, doing something like that, are you going to really feel energized for the next day? No, you're not, right? I mean, if you want to start early, like that's my goal. I want to start my day early. I want to be on track early, and I want to spend time inputting into my own life early in the day so that I have what I need for leading other people, helping other people, being able to give out of abundance rather than, feeling like I don't have anything to give or to share with others. And this is all about caring for ourselves and putting yourself in a place where you have something to give. It's all about environment. It's all about planning. It's all about preparation. And guess what, guys? Every day is a new day. You can start today. You don't have to wait till, the new year. This is all like stuff that I was reminded of today with my coaching session. So that's why I want to encourage you with the same things. Be encouraged, because today is a new day. Today is a new day. You can start brand new right now. You can become the person that you are called to become starting right now. It's all about the habits and the disciplines that you put in your life, and what you think about, and who you surround yourself with. What are the thoughts that you're putting in your brain right now that are either going to help you grow or they're going to discourage you? Maybe there are voices from your past. There might even be voices from your present that you need to silence. And we all have an inner critic. And that's why for me, coaching, that's why words from outside of myself are so important, because I need, and you need encouragement that comes from somebody else. My coach says this. He says, look, if you're not encouraged, if you don't have courage, if you don't have confidence, if you don't have like this, borrow some of mine. I've got enough for you. And so surround yourself with people who can bring out the best in you, and put yourself into places where you are preparing for the next day, the night before. Don't put yourself in places where you're living out of a deficit. Put yourself in a place where you're living out of gratitude and out of abundance and out of having your own heart and life filled up. Hey, my name is Jed, and you can actually call me Jed the Brave. I just had that bracelet made last week, actually, in Mexico. We were down there building a house for a family, and I'm an artist, and 7 years ago, let me think. I think it's 7 years ago. Yeah, just over 7 years ago, 7.5 years, I became a full-time artist, meaning I left my former job. I didn't have any other source of income, and my wife wasn't doing anything outside the home either. She was a mom, and we had a young girl, and I jumped into being a full-time artist. And I know that there are other people who are interested in that. Like, hey, what does it take to be a full-time artist? One thing it takes is bravery. It takes courage. And that's why I made this, because I've realized over time, like, we are, like, words matter to us. Words matter to you. And I think that if you are creative, if you are a person who wants to move forward in creativity, even just to begin whatever that creative outlet is, like you want to paint, you want to work with clay, you want to write music, you want to learn the piano, like whatever it is, if you're trying to do something that's creative, you are going to encounter fear. You're going to have to be courageous and be brave. And so that's what I've realized for myself. I, had this idea of brave artist a long time ago, and I'm like, I need to know this for myself, and I need to continue to put it into my own mindset, just like you do. Who are you? Who are you? I am Jed the Brave. I feel like that is a God-given kind of name that helps me understand that I don't have to live in fear. I don't have to live as a coward. I can live courageously. And so my goal is to walk with you and to help you in your journey take courageous steps and be brave, but also be smart and maybe avoid mistakes that I made along the way, that we made as a team along the way. Because fast forward to where we are now, and I actually don't have to sell paintings to make a living. We've worked to develop an art business that is lucrative, and it does well. And I feel like it's a blessing for me. We've had to battle through lots of things along the way, but one of the things that it made me realize is, like, I have some knowledge, I have some skill, I have some abilities that it would be selfish for me to keep them and not to be able to share them with other aspiring artists or people who are trying to figure things out. Like, if you want to be creative, you want to make a living from being creative, or if you're just kind of like wanting to try creativity, you want to be an artist, you want to do something that is outside of your normal. Maybe you're going to work every day and you just feel like you're stuck in a rut and you don't know what to do or how to move forward or how to take a creative adventure or anything like that, and you just feel like you don't have that encouragement. This is why I'm doing this, because I want to walk with you. I want to encourage you and see you flourish in your whatever your creativity looks like, whatever that is. So I'm standing outside today. It's a beautiful day. It's November. Just had Thanksgiving, and I'm really wanting to know, what do you want? What would be helpful for you? I don't know who you are. I don't know who's going to watch this video right now, but I just want you to know that I'm going to look in the comments, and I'm going to have my new site. I'm just getting it ready, but I'm just going to have a little questionnaire on there, like real short. What is your greatest question? Like, what would help you figure out what it looks like to overcome obstacles in your art, in your creativity? Like, and we'll see. We'll just create this together, because what I know is that things are better together. I know that for me, having a team that I've been able to work with over time has really made a difference for me. And so let's be on this journey together, and we'll just see what happens. So I have a bunch of commissions that have come in through my website over the last months, and I've basically ignored them, right? I haven't done anything. I haven't had time, haven't had the ability, the energy, and the capacity to do them because I've been so busy with Acrylic University. And now, over the last just like month, or maybe month, we've made some changes, and I have some more flexibility, some more freedom, and it is cool because I am going to be able to do some of these commissions that I put off, and I'm going to be reaching out to these people. I feel bad in a lot of ways because it's like, gosh, even this, like, I don't know, maybe a month ago or something, I had to email somebody and say, I cannot do your commission, because she had reached out a bunch of times over a year. And I just was saying, I can't do it. I'm really sorry. I just can't do it. I can't manage it because I just don't have the capacity. I know you've been waiting, and I feel super bad that I can't make it happen. Gosh, there's like a big there's a leak happening over here. I'll try to show you. I don't know if you can see it, but oh man, this dang cow. There's this bull that keeps getting out, comes over and walks, hangs out in our yard, and obviously he must have just like see him hooked up. I don't know if you could see, but that thing had come out and it was just spraying water all over it, so you can see the ground is just sopping wet. Anyways, I don't even know what I was talking. Oh, the commission. Got so caught up with this cow. Dang, man. He pooped right there. Well, I finally have the capacity to maybe go back even to that lady. I'm not 100% sure, but I would be happy. I know she was really disappointed that I wasn't able to do any of she had two paintings that she wanted, one for her sister and one for her, of their house that they grew up in. And it's really fun to do commissions, and I'll share why I love them sometime, but I'm hoping that I can reach out to some of these people that have been waiting, and I can, solidify it, get the deal worked out, and say, hey, let's do this, and I'll get you a painting by, if they have a time frame that they need it. Anyways, we'll see what happens, but I'm thankful to have the capacity again because of our amazing team being able to pick up some of the stuff that I've been doing. Gives me a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more time. So if you're looking to make a living as an artist, honestly, commissions are amazing. Commissions, if you don't know what that means, it means a custom painting. It means somebody comes to you and they say, hey, do you ever paint, could you paint our house? Could you paint our dog? Could you paint our canary? It doesn't matter what it is, really. As long as you're comfortable painting it, it's something that you are able and capable of painting. It's actually a good way to make a living as an artist. And some people look at it like, oh shoot, I don't want to be constrained. I don't want to have somebody tell me what to do and I have to please them. But I kind of look at it differently. I think everything I paint, if you're, writing a song, it's not exactly like this because it's for lots and lots and lots of people. But for an artist, like if you're a sculptor or something like this, you might feel the same way, although I suppose a lot of that could be duplicated. Just like a print can happen. But my point is that I think that if I'm painting something, like I come over here and I go like, okay, I believe that I painted this painting for someone. I believe that there's someone out there who will look at that painting and go like, I love it. It reminds me of this. And I want it in my house. And so the difference between this and a commission is that I don't yet know who this is for. But when somebody approaches me and they say, hey, they might even have a similar scene. They might say, I want this. We went on this vacation and we took this photograph and I'd love to have you paint it for me. I'd love to give it to my wife for Christmas because it's a really great memory. The difference is that I'm painting the same thing. Somebody else has some input into it, and they might have some ideas about what it should look like or what they want it to look like. And that can be challenging. I admit it can be challenging. But it makes it a pretty fun process because all of a sudden I know, like, hey, let's just make something up, but Bob wants to give this to his wife, Sue, because they went on a vacation. And you know what? What's going to happen is he's going to tell me about the story behind their vacation. He's going to tell me why they were there and what was cool about it. And he's going to send me a photograph or a few photographs and I'm going to be able to look at them and I'm going to give them a design. And if you do commissions right, they don't have to be super stressful. I found a way that I feel like, man, it takes like 98% of the stress away from a commission. One thing that I don't really love with commissions is if there's a really strict timeline. It's okay if you have the time and you have the ability to like set aside time for it, which if all I was doing was selling paintings, that would be a lot easier. But because of other things that I have to do, sometimes like setting aside direct time for that is a little bit difficult, but that's like the only thing that I find. I often tell people I can't give you a time. If you're okay with it taking a little while, I can shoot for a time. But most of the time I'm just like, I'll put you in line and I go in order. And when I get there, I'll reach out to you and I'll let you know. And otherwise, if you don't hear anything, I'll try to keep you up to date, but I'm probably just not quite there yet. And if somebody has a really urgent deadline, I'll see if I can make it work. But I'm not going to bend over backwards generally because that means I'm going to screw up something else. I'm going to screw up my own schedule or, potentially like our team's schedule. So anyways, I think that if you are okay working with people and knowing who you're painting it for and having somebody else have a little bit of input into what it is, most people I find are great to work with. They mostly defer to you and they say, you do it. You tell me what to do, what you want to do with this painting, because they're not an artist and they don't have super strong thoughts usually. So anyways, I think commissions are a good way to make a living. Man, so I don't know about you, but one of the things that really can get me, man, it can really get me is freaking Instagram or YouTube Reels or YouTube Shorts or those kind of things that's like, they make it so dang addictive. And I don't know what I was coming on my computer over here just to do something with my, I needed to create a new YouTube channel for this. I needed to look at some commissions that I wanted to go back into my commissions, and somewhere along the way I saw a YouTube short video and I'm like, oh, interesting. And it just got me going. Lesson learned. Don't mess around with social media, man. It will suck you in. And so for me and for you, if you're an artist and you're wanting to put yourself out there, one thing that you gotta be careful about, that just speaking to myself right now, I'm going, okay, that was dumb. I wasted some time today. I mean, it wasn't an overwhelming amount of time, but anything that sucks you away, keeps you from doing what you are wanting to do, what you're called to do, you need to get rid of it, right? I mean, that's the whole thing, is we can procrastinate, be distracted all the time. So for me, one of the things I try to do is avoid the, whatever it is altogether. So like, don't even go on there. Or if you're going to go on there, don't start scrolling, because once you start scrolling, it's so easy to keep scrolling. So just a little note. Yeah. So I'm going to be taking people through a beta course on creating video courses, how to do it, and what equipment would be really helpful, what to stay away from, how to do it on a budget. Just a lot of stuff. What platforms to be on. If you get questions, write them below. It helps me know what the real questions are. I feel like things changed a ton from when we started creating our first course, which was late 2018. You get into 2019, we were rolling with creating stuff, and then 2020 happened, and I was super thankful that we'd already begun. We weren't trying to scramble and figure stuff out. However, we weren't fully, really like knowing exactly what to do either. So I think that there were people who hit 2020 and they were rolling, and they just, when everything shut down, like they took off because they were able to catch that wave and ride it. And we were kind of like, we were just figuring out how to catch the wave. So we got some momentum, but really, I don't know how much more momentum than what we already had. There were a few things that happened, like we started doing a lot more live videos then, which was a change. And that was out of necessity, of course, because, you couldn't have people into your studio. And so we had to figure out a way to interact with people to maintain our sanity. And how a lot of that happened through YouTube live things that we did. But what was I going to say with that? Oh, a lot has changed since 2019, because, when we started, I don't think that many people were doing videos on their own. And now I think if you're an artist and you haven't figured out a way to film yourself at all, you probably aren't trying to. You probably have no need to, or something like that, because most people through the pandemic, man, they were being creative. They're figuring out ways, and they were putting themselves out there, or else they were starving, right? Because, like I know a lot of artists that made good money during the pandemic, through people being shut down because people couldn't go on vacation. So they started buying art. They're like, hey, we want to bring beauty into our house. So a lot of artists made okay money through selling their artwork. But anybody who relied on workshops as part of their income or something like that, all those were shut down. So they, did a quick kind of reevaluation and started thinking, how can I do this through Zoom or something like that? Now you have lots and lots of people who, that you're already doing workshops online, you're doing different things, maybe you've created something, but at least you're more familiar. So some of the questions that I had at the beginning, I don't know if you have. That's the long thing that I'm getting around to say is maybe you figured stuff out already a lot because, there's more access to stuff than what I had when we were starting. So your questions might be different than what I'm making up in my head. And I would love to know what your questions are. Like, what is it about making a course or making it as an artist, or, if you're wanting to create something that can sustain your income and help you be a full-time artist, like, what are your questions about that? Because, I would really like to be answering real questions and not made up questions from my own brain. It's time to get to the gym. I've been going in the morning very regularly for a super long time, but since the start of the school year, my daughter switched schools, and it's been a little bit harder to get to the gym just because her schedule, it means like I go, I come back, and then sometimes I have to bring her right back in. So I started thinking like maybe I could coordinate my driving a little bit more around her schedule. And it hasn't worked perfectly. I'm still trying to figure out a little bit, but brought up this point. Look at all this crap. So I hid this away because sometimes I think that'd be fun. Let's get that, and we're on a trip or something like that. And I think, oh, I'll get this for, my daughter and her friend. And it's like, I don't want them to eat that. I don't want to eat it. And you know what I'm doing? Just throwing it away. Throwing it away because why not, right? Why not get rid of the temptation? Why not pre-decide what you're going to do? Like, rather than like wake up and look at it and be like, maybe I should have some milk duds. Maybe you just go, you know what? I know that I don't want milk duds. I know that I don't want to put a bunch of sugar in my body. I know I want to live a healthier life. I know I want to work out. So why don't I just pre-decide that that's what I'm going to do? You pre-decide what you're going to do before you get to the situation. It's going to help you make the right decision, the decision that you actually want to make. Because discipline, if you want a good definition of discipline, it's choosing what you want most over what you want now. Choosing what you want most over what you want now. And I know that I actually don't want any of these right now, but if I did want some right now, discipline would be saying, yeah, right now that would taste good to have some Reese's Pieces. That would be really good. But I know that long term, what I want is I want to be healthy. I want to be there for my family. I want to be able to do sports and exercise. Like, I love going outside, going for a hike. That's what I want long term. So discipline right now is saying, I'm not going to choose what would feel good right now. Like, I don't want to go to the gym right now because it's been a long day. I'm tired. I don't want to drive in. I don't want to go work hard. I don't want to do that. That's the undisciplined part of me saying that. That's the lazy part of me saying that. But the discipline says, no, that's the better decision in the long term. It's choosing what you want most over what you want now. If we can make a habit of doing that, if we can pre-decide some of those things and set them into our calendars, set them into our lives in an ongoing way, can you imagine? Can you imagine who you would be if you did what you wanted most and you chose that over what you want now? By the way, don't tell my daughter I'm throwing all this away. Don't tell my wife that I'm throwing it all away. They'd be mad at me. But in the long term, they'll thank me. So I'm going to hit a workout and then I'm going to go to bed pretty soon here. But I wanted to say this last thing. Be brave. Because when you become more brave, the world becomes more beautiful. I'll see you tomorrow.